All right, so good morning, everybody. So I wanted to talk to you about these two problems from the homework, which is what you should be working on right now. Looking at the amount of people that have turned it in, it's not a good sign. Today is a good day to catch up. It is, in fact, a review day for Unit 4. So let's look at this one. This is number 6 from your homework from last night. So if you haven't done it, copy it down so that you have it with you. We notice right away that they have a common denominator. So I don't have to worry about multiplication. What I do have to worry about though is as I'm creating my single fraction out of it, because that's what we want when we're adding or subtracting our fractions here, is that we have a 4x squared on top. Can't do anything with that. A minus 1, well, we can't subtract them, so that's what we have so far. But remember, on big ideas, as soon as we see this, we know they're giving us a hint. They're letting us know that something will cancel out in this problem. Well, that's why we've said, as soon as you've done all the math you can, and we really couldn't do much, you have to question factoring this, the top. And really, it's only the top that we worry about because we can't really factor this one. It has two terms, it has a power of 2. And of course, that's why we have a word wall there that'll guide us. This is the one part of the word wall that people tend to forget. But remember, the idea is GCF first. All right, it has none. Now it has 2 or 3 terms. Well, this one has 2 terms. So then, of course, I'm going to be using what we call the difference of 2 squares. So if I follow the guideline here, I have to give something a power of 2 minus something a power of 2. So if it says 4x squared, well, to get a 4 according to this list, should be putting a 2 there. And because there's an x squared, well, then I'll put a 2x. And then, of course, for the number 1, that's just a 1. So when I'm factoring here, according to the word wall and the steps I should be taking, these two parentheses will look exactly the same except for the sign in the middle, and 2x will be in the front for both here, on the inside, of course, and a 1 on these. Again, you have to spot a difference of squares. Not everything is a diamond method. Not everything is just GCF. Difference of squares need to be spotted right away. And then if you notice, I look at the bottom and we notice, hey, these are exactly the same, so they're going to cancel. This is the answer you should be writing on Big Ideas Math into that empty box up there. And if you're wondering, well, why does it say x can't be a half? Well, remember, we talked about this last week. When this canceled out, 2x minus 1 cannot be 0. So when I add a 1, let's see, we do that. 2x cannot equal a 1. Divide by 2. And there it is. This is where they're getting the 1/2. That's why this is their way of telling you on Big Ideas that you should factor and something should cancel out. That's your little clue right there. Now, the other one I want to talk to you about is number 9. Now, if you notice, they don't mention anything like that. So, yeah, we'll work this out, and chances are nothing will cancel out. So, let's see what happens. Now, when I look at this one, the denominators are very different. But the idea is this. I basically have 2 fractions. Again, I want to have 1. But I'm going to look at this denominator. The 9 is still there. The 2x is there. Now, notice, this one has an x minus 3. This one has an x plus 1. Notice how I'm just writing it down, and I'm putting it in parentheses for a reason. But when I look at this and I want a common denominator, well, a common denominator in algebra just means I should be writing all the factors I see below. So x minus 3 is there, but I need to write x plus 1 because I want to have this one and this one have to have the same thing. And if I wrote it here at the bottom, well, then I need it here at the top because you have to balance out the fraction. Look at this one. When I'm looking here, move this up now a little. When I'm looking at this one, I notice, all right, the x plus 1 is there, but because I want them to be the same, then this one needs an x minus 3. But because I have to balance out the fraction, then I'm going to do it up here as well. And now this thing is finally ready to create a single fraction out of it, which is going to have the x minus 3 and the x plus 1. And if you're wondering, oh, do I multiply this? Don't. We want it in factored form. We want to see if something will cancel out eventually. But here's the rest of the work. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times 1 is just 9, so plus 9. If this were a minus, I would also multiply by a negative, but it's a positive, so it's just 2x times x, so positive 2x squared. Don't put parentheses anymore. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. And now I'm going to combine whatever I can, and I'm going to write it in order. Let's just go this way here. So 2x squared should be first. 9x minus 6x, well, that's a positive 3x. And then just 9 all over x minus 3 times x plus 1. Now, remember, when you think you're done and if you created that single fraction, you have to question, can we factor? That's the question at hand. And because it has no GCF and it has 3 terms, then this is what I'm going to test. And remember, it's not a 9 up here. It's 2 times 9, so that's 18. The 3 goes at the bottom. Now remember, this is positive and this is positive, so they have to be positive, not a negative and a positive. And if that's the case, there are no numbers that multiply to give you 18 and add up to a 3. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work in this case. So because of that, factoring is not possible. And if factoring is not possible, then that just means one thing. I'm officially done with this problem. But we checked it. You have to check to see if factoring is possible or not, because sometimes it may cancel out. You saw that happen at the top with number 6. So again, right now you should be working on big ideas. That is your first ticket out for today. There are 2 of them today. That is just one of them. You need to complete and submit on Big Ideas Math, and obviously upload a picture. And of course, the other assignment that you're working on as your ticket out, you do have a homework as well tonight, is this. And just so that you can see, look, this one, there's no multiplying, adding, subtracting. This is a very straightforward, hey, let's reduce this. Well, this is an X factor. There's 3 terms. Let's see, 25 and 10. So then that would be positive 5 and positive 5, just to get you going on the classwork there already. So this fraction is starting to look like this with the green one, x plus 5 times x plus 5. When I look at the bottom one, on the other hand, well, look, I don't have 3 terms, but there's that difference of squares again. This is the one thing that keeps getting people. This is the one you need to learn to break down into powers of 2. That's just an x. And the square root of 25, well, that's just a 5. And so this purple one becomes x plus 5 and x minus 5. Remember, the signs need to be different. And then when I look at this, we have to decide, all right, well, what cancels out? Well, very easily, this goes away. Now, someone in class today asked, well, does this one cancel too? No. If you only have 1 at the bottom, then you can only cancel 1 at the top. And so my answer here is x plus 5 over x minus 5, and that's my result. So these are your 2 tickets out for today. You need to finish this handout. The answer key is available with the sub. So make sure you work on this, and then have a wonderful day, and then I'll see you again on Friday.